even after 2 weeks of waiting for a chapter, the discussions about who Kaido's son was going to be and how relevant he was going to be to the plot after recently being introduced, that's kind of like a question mark because we don't get that answered. In fact, that's where we can expect who we can expect the Strawhat's first opponents to be in Onigashima. I think it's kind of obvious, even though technically there's only 6, but I'll get into that. Once again, we got Lola reuniting with Chiffon on the cover page. Sound like a broken record, but I really don't know what the purpose of this cover page story is anymore. To an alliance to help out Nami on Wano. I said that in the last chapter, so let's move on. We see Law in the submarine. They go under. So I guess the plan is still as follows. The Strawhats are going to use themselves as a decoy for the rest to attack. They can't be spotted though, even though they're technically in Onigashima at this point. Then go around. That was the plan. I did find it funny though. You see the scabbards that all the samurai that are camping out or on Law's ship. Just look at Law's expression, like, yeah, I'm so done with this. He doesn't do these scabbards like camping on his ship. So I thought that was funny. You see the Strawhats passing through alongside the alliance, and the most interesting thing to note here is while they're passing through, the party's still going on, so they're oblivious to all this. But the whole point is them to not get discovered. The mansion, Kaido's mansion's at the bottom. They need to find a way to get, or at least not be spotted, according to Zoro. The people who were guarding the entrance of Onigashima, what a freaking joke. They were just drinking it up, not paying attention at all. Usopp put them to sleep, literally. So there's a gag about the ships must not sink. And then there's a ship, if we had to run away, what about the Sunny? You see Usopp saying that, and look at Frankie's reaction. I find that interesting because if you remember, Usopp would be in Frankie's place if somebody mentioned anything about them going merry like that. So that's a gag. I don't think it's serious, even though it has been teased the Sunny being destroyed twice. So Kinemon actually pulls something useful and actually disguises the members of the Alliance in Kaido's in the Beast Pirate uniform, because you see Kid immediately was kind of hilarious because you see the horns and everything. So, and this gag, this ability of Kinemon was introduced back in Dressrosa when he disguised himself as Doflamingo. He did this for Nami, Chopper, Brooke, Sanji, and Carrot back at the beginning of Wano when they went into their Wano gear. So the Kid Pirates, you see Killer there in the garb, so that's pretty funny. So then he says, however, my technique will revert you back to into your previous gear as soon as you take your costume off or if they get destroyed, which one of the two may happen, but try to avoid confrontation as much as possible. The fact that he said that means there's going to be a confrontation, plus the introduction of Tobi Robbo I'm going to get into, because there's an interesting panel of the Straw Hats. The 6 that they get switched are Sanji, Nami, Luffy, Zoro, Chopper, and Brooke. Then after that, after like the Alliance about to crash on in, we go into the party where Queen is like coaching everybody to try and get skinny. It's just a typical Queen gag, right? You see like the musicians playing the flutes instead of the guitars, like the geishas play. So I thought that was kind of different. Also, you got Scratchman who is the DJ. Go figure. While this is going on, though, we get introduced to like the waiters, the pleasures, and the gifters, which we already knew. We kind of like the elites, like who the strong are. The gifter elite, Shunichi. I definitely feel I'm highlighting these guys for a reason, because they're going to be opponents for not just the Straw Hats but the Alliance. So they have to have as many as they can. They've got enough, so there's no reason not to. Just pieing it up. Then the most interesting part of the chapter comes. We ask Orochi, and Orochi's being greeted by the Oniwabashu, and we know this because we see Fukurakuju with his head. So they're there. Could be potential opponents. Obviously, one of them's going to be Shinobu. Maybe Robin as well, because she had some interactions with them. So that'd be kind of cool. Speaking of which, we get introduced to the Tobi Robbo. One of them, being the girl, was Aruti, or the mask. She's the first one to get designed. We kind of knew who one of them was already. 2 of them, actually. Obviously, Page 1 and X Drake. We get introduced to the other 4. This is obviously what a lot of people are talking about. So there is a bit of foreshadowing as to distrust between the Tobi Robbo, because they said that you see Aruti talking about, oh, Queen would be better off if he was dead, because the next person up the hierarchy would take his place as a Calamity, and the next one would be X-Drake, because, which is interesting because you'd think Jack would be the next one. He's the third level Yonko commander. He's also the third Calamity. But according to this, it looks like they're insinuating that maybe X-Drake would be the one to take Queen's place, and he's like, I'm not interested in that. But look at his face, like he don't know if he's like suspicious about that statement. But notice it was the girl, the other girl, Black Maria, that said that. Well, I like the designs of each of the members of the Tobi Robbo, the Flying Six. And then they mentioned something about page 1. Like, I don't think they didn't say he's qualified as well. So this turmoil between the 6, I don't know if it's just a gag, but introduced to the full designs of the Tobi Robbo, which, considering the fact that Oda did so much to like hide their appearance, we only got to see the lower legs of the Tobi Robbo. We get introduced to, like we said, we already know 2, page 1 and X-Drake. But obviously the reveal, the 2 girls are going to be the most talked about, because this could be potentially the opponents for Nami and Robin respectively. So we also get introduced to Who's Who, which I thought was kind of funny. Who's Who, he has the face mask. Then we get introduced to page 1, which if you look at it, he's in his human form, which we've never seen before. We've seen him in his hybrid form. We've seen him in his dinosaur form, in his dino form. Kind of interesting to me. So, and then we get introduced to the final one, Sasaki, and noticeably he's like a fishman. So the 6, and I do find it interesting. I know a lot of people want Nami and Robin to go square off against the women, and believe me, I'm all for that. But I do find it interesting that the 6 Straw Hats that got costume changes are the ones that highlighted, and the 6 members of the Tobi Robbo. I don't know. Because the 2 women doesn't mean Nami and Robin will be the ones to fight them. So that could be one way this could happen. And if it doesn't, the other way is the fact you still have like a fishman that could easily go against, could be the first opponent for Jinbei or Wano. That'd be pretty cool. So he's got like the Jack teeth and Jinbei, so he's clearly a fishman. So that'd be a perfect opponent for Jinbei. And the only thing to note is we don't know what the Tobi Robbo could do as a whole. We only know the hype because of Law's conversation with Sanji in the anime, hyping the crap out of him. The ones to watch out for are X-Drake and page 1. I don't know if that means anything from a power standpoint, but they're the 2 main ones, right? What the rest could do, I hope they're not scrubs. But this clearly is the first set of opponents for the Strawhats in Onigashima. Of the 6, we only know 1 of where he stands, and that's X-Drake, because we know he's part of the Sword faction. Keep in note, there was 2 members of the other members of the Worst Generation highlighted, Scratch Manapoo and X-Drake. We also know Hawkins has to make an appearance at some point because he's with them, so that's going to be kind of cool. Maybe Scratch Manapoo could go against Kid, because he technically did betray the Kid Alliance. So X-Drake, we kind of know some bits about. He did knock back Sanji early on in Wano Act 2. We know page 1. I think it's kind of obvious page 1 has to go against Sanji, because why would you leave that fight unresolved? They revealed it in the anime, so there's no reason to have that fight unresolved unless they're not going to fight again. This would be a best time for Sanji to actually do away with page 1. X-Drake possibly go up against Zoro, although could go up against Luffy, you never know. But I hope it's the latter, and this is just a reverse psychology from Oda, where we do get the 2 girls squaring off against Nami and Robin. In a perfect world, I like Black Maria. I think she has the best design out of the bunch. Obviously, not excluding X-Drake, of course. But I think she'd be a perfect opponent for Robin. But whether or not that happens, we'll have to wait and see. Aruti, obviously, seems to be like an antagonist, like the way she's talking about Queen. So we do get a little glimpse into the personality. What do you guys think down below? But I find it interesting. The Tobi Robbo are introduced. Possible opponents for some of the Strawhats, maybe not all of them. But again, you also highlight the fact that Aniwabashu is also there. So there's more than enough opponents to go up against Robin and Nami. But this could be the 2 that first square off against them. In a perfect world, that's what I want. But whether or not Oda does that, we'll have to wait and see. And if they do that, are they going to give like Robin and Nami like Is it going to be tough battles for them, or is it going to be like, are they going to be like scrubs for Nami and Robin to deal with? We have to wait and see. Also, we know Big Mom and there's a mention of the Big Mom pirates, so they also have to make an appearance. There's a lot going against the Alliance off screen as well as on screen. Like I said, we never got Kit Kaido's son mentioned in this chapter once. So the fact that there's a lot of speculation, is his son going to be is he going to make an impact? Is he going to be a turning point in the arc? Is he going to be a scrub? We don't know, because if Kaido's son was that powerful, you would think he'd be a calamity by now. Only the One Piece is delayed right now, so whether or not when the anime returns, I don't know when that is. So this is going to be the last chapter of April until May. So, but it was a good one to get introduced to potential opponents for the Straw Hats. Most specifically, a lot of people are hoping Nami and Robin. We'll see where that goes. That's going to do it for today, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Like this review if you did. Subscribe to channel for more One Piece. Catch you guys later. Thanks, guys. Bye.